Officials warning us about the coronavirus threat are increasingly worried that baby boomers, Anthony Mathis, and me, and young adults,
wait a minute.
and me, and young adults are not listening to their advice. It's a particular problem in Florida, where some beaches are still open and college students on break have been slow to recognize the danger. Manuel Bojorquez is in Hollywood, Florida. That's a place where you find a lot of spring breakers and retirees. Manny, hello to you. A young friend of mine said to me yesterday that the government sends conflicting messages, that they leave the beaches open and then tell young people not to go. So do you think people are now finally going to get the message?
Here's what I can tell you from reporting on this story this week. Some young people just will not budge, and it requires doing something like this, actually shutting down the beaches to get their attention. But this decision does not come lightly in a state where tourism is an $86 billion a year industry. If packed beaches weren't enough to get your blood boiling, there was this.
If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying.
Now, some young adults seem to be getting the message that they can spread the virus and become severely ill themselves, even if they had to learn it the hard way.
They're starting to all get positive tests.
This Vanderbilt University senior, who asked we not use his name, is now one of a number of students who tested positive for the coronavirus at that school.
Because of the just sort of rapid spread, everyone's really worried. I have a friend in the multiple friends in the hospital right now. I think that the narrative has completely flipped. If you go out now, you're going to get shamed from a lot of people.
Officials are trying to reach young people by any means possible. The Surgeon General asked influencers like Kylie Jenner to spread the message.
Please stay inside, you guys. Please stay inside, practice social distancing, self-quarantine.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo brought his 22-year-old daughter, Michaela, to a news conference to show she's staying put.
It makes no sense to go expose yourself to these conditions and expose other people.
74-year-old Errol Eisinger of Fort Lauderdale agrees.
But if you could say something to them, what would you say?
I would say just be aware of what is going on and take it seriously.
He's part of the quarter of Florida's population over 60, a concerning statistic in a state up until recently full of tourists. The governor has been criticized for not ordering all beaches closed.
When people put out some of these pictures that were, at the beginning of the weekend when CDC's guidance said 250 people is fine, time changed radically in 72 hours. And so we've responded. A lot of local communities have responded.
But Miami-Dade County didn't close all beaches until yesterday. Clearwater Beach is closing today. We also found when it comes to young people, the reverse can also be true. Many say they're finding it hard to convince their parents to change their routines.
My dad is in sales, and he's a baby boomer, a go-getter, and last time I talked to him, he was still out moving and grooving.
In the end, this weekend will be drastically different than the last. Some hotels are having to close due to lack of demand, and other hotels, like those along the Florida Keys, they are being ordered to close starting Sunday at 6 p.m. Tony?
Manny, thank you very much. Moving and grooving. Are you two moving and grooving?
Yeah,
You got a message?
I was going to say, it is no fun, Anthony, to be chastised by your children, is it? Because didn't your daughter say something to you?
Yes, my 24-year-old daughter got on my case.
Because where were you going?
I was going to a gym,
yes.
And she was like, your gym is closing. I was like, yes, but it's not closed yet.
I know. So I have to say, message received, and then I look at the younger people. If you're not going to think about yourself, at least think about your parents or your grandparents.
Message
that
to
you're
boomers,
putting them in jeopardy.
The federal government was wrong maybe about marijuana, but they're not wrong about coronavirus.
No.
Take the precautions
I was very impressed that my daughter chastised me.
No, I got it. Here, what are they calling it? A boomer reducer.
It's a boomer reducer?
None of us want to be in that group.
No, you don't want to be in that group.
No.
I hope also Mom and Dad, who's paying like Generation Z's bills while they're out there partying on the beach, are pulling the plug.
Exactly.
Credit card is now canceled. Yeah.